All right, in this video, we are going to look at special right triangles. We have been working with right triangles, and there are some that are very unique, and we're going to see that today. So let's explore it. Okay, these you need to memorize their properties, but let's explore it. Draw a square. Okay, let me just get, hold on. I'm gonna go back and get the pen too. Okay, just if you draw a square, which will all the sides are equal. So let's label the sides A. Okay, all the sides are A's, the same. Okay, you can use anything. And so of course the right angle is on each of them. Now, if we draw a diagonal, one of the diagonals, what type of triangle is that? The angle here is going to be 45 because remember the diagonal bisects a square, right? It bisects, it divides it into equal halves. So we have actually isosceles, right? Because the two sides are equal. This is isosceles right triangles, all right? It's isosceles right triangle. Now let's find this part, the D, which is this diagonal. Let's label it D and find it using Pythagorean theorem, because with Pythagorean theorem we can find any length. So the diagonal is going to be the hypotenuse because it is opposite the right angle, okay? So D square is equal to A square plus A square. So D squared is equal to what? 2A squared. There are two of them. So since they are like terms, we can add them together. It's 2A squared. So we take the square root to find D. So we take the square root of 2 times the square root of A squared. So the square is and the square is gonna cross out. So we just have A. So D is A square root of 2. So you see that? So whatever we have for the sides, for the two legs, whatever we have for the two legs, we multiply that by square root of 2, we get the diagonal, okay, which is the hypotenuse. So in any right isosceles triangle, we call it 45, 90 angle. Is a special angle. The hypotenuse is always square root of 2 times the leg. Okay. So another one, let us draw an equilateral triangle. If we draw an equilateral triangle with all the sides equal, again we can make the size, maybe let's make it 2A, and if it is 2A, we are going to find the height so that we have a right angle there. So the height is going to bisect this side into equal halves. So if each of the side is 2A, what would be the side here? It's going to be AA, right? So because we have to add them up to make up the 2A. Make sense? Okay. So now, again, we use Pythagorean theorem. These are identical triangles, right triangles. So we're going to find the height. So again, which side is the hypotenuse? 2A, right? 2A. So then we have 2A squared is going to equal A squared plus H squared. Okay. So now 2A squared is 2A times 2A, which is 4A squared, which is A squared plus H squared. So now we are solving for H. So we need to get H by itself. So we can subtract 1A squared from both sides. 4A squared minus A squared equals H squared. So we subtract A squared from both sides to get H squared by itself. And then this is 4A squared minus 1A squared. We give us 3A squared, right? 3A squared is H squared. So now we take the square root of both sides to solve for H. So the square root of 3 times the square root of A squared is equal to H. Okay? Now, the 3 is not a perfect square, so we leave it. But then square root crosses out square. Again, we have A square root of 3 equals h. Again, the key thing here, we see the relationship between this side and the a we have. So, and this is the, since this is the isosceles triangle, of course, this angle is 60, this is 60, and the top has been split into equal halves. So this will be 30, and that will be 30. Okay, so, and we see A is the small leg because it is opposite the smaller angle. H is the longer leg because it is opposite the longer angle. So, and H is a square root of 3. So what do we see here? That in a 30, 60, 90 degree angles, the hypotenuse is twice the small leg. And the longer leg is square root of 3 times the smaller leg. So each one of them, the hypotenuse and the longer leg, have reference to the small leg. You see that? So hypotenuse is twice the smaller leg, and then the longer leg is the smaller leg times square root of 3. So those are the two special right triangles. So here now, put them together. In a 45, 45, 90 degree angle, which is called isosceles right triangle, the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times leg, which we derive from from what is that? Square, from a square, right? Diagonal of a square. Get that? Okay, this is also in your notebook. So you copy in your notebook. And here is a 30, 60, 90 theorem. Again, in any 30, 60, 90, which we got from isosceles triangle. So once one of the angle is 30, the other one is definitely 60, because they have to add up to be 90 to make up 180 degree sum of angles. So two things happen here, that the hypotenuse is twice the shorter leg, and the longer leg is square root of 3 times the shorter leg. Again, both of them make reference to the shorter leg. So that's it. These are called special right triangle, and you have to memorize these. Now let's use them to solve problem. Okay, so here it says express PQ, PS, and QR in terms of A. In terms of A. So A here is the height. A is the height. So now they're giving this is angle is 30, this is 90. That means this one is what? Is 60. So we put it there, is 60. And here, this part is 45. Of course, this is 90 also. So this is going to be 45. So you have to use what is given to find what is missing. And now look at each triangle separately, because their properties are different. So if this is the small angle, this is the smaller, maybe 45 is easier, because all the sides, the two legs are going to be equal. So in 45, what is A? This is one of the legs. This is one of the leg, which is A. The other leg is going to be what? A also, because both of them has to be equal. Because in the 45 degree, the two legs has to be equal, because it's isosceles. Okay. So then in because this is 30 degree, the side opposite it should be the smaller leg, the short leg. So what is that? What is PS? PS is the longer leg here. So we know the longer leg. So we know PS, which is the longer leg, is square root of 3 times the shorter leg. Times the shorter leg. That's what we just found out. So PS is going to be, the shorter leg is A. Shorter leg is A. So A times square root of 3. That's all we are asked to write, to express that. And then PS. I wrote PS. PQ, I said the PQ. Okay, PQ is the hypotenuse, because it's opposite the right angle. So if PQ is the opposite of 30, 60, 90, so we know the hypotenuse is twice the small leg. Hypotenuse is twice the small leg. So if the small leg is A, then it's going to be 2A. Simple enough. Okay. And then QR. So QR is the hypotenuse of triangle, angle 45, 45, 90. 45, 45, 90. What do we know about there? That's the diagonal of a square. So that's going to be square root of 2 times A. So QR is going to be A times square root of 2. Again, it comes by just more practice. You get used to these numbers, but you need to memorize them and be able to use them just freely like that. Okay. All right, let's do this one. Find the values of X and Y. Okay, so we look at X is here. Now watch, this is 30, 90, so this here should be 60. And this one is 60, of course this is 90, also this would be 30. So look at each triangle separately, one by one. Okay, one by one. So first of all, we have X here. X for this triangle is opposite a 30 degree, so it's going to be the small leg. So we know in 30, 60, 90 triangle, the small leg or the hypotenuse, since we know what the hypotenuse is, so let's connect to the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse equals twice the shorter leg, the short leg. So since the hypotenuse here is 8, the hypotenuse is 8 equals 2 times the shorter leg we are looking for is X, because again it's the shorter because it is the one opposite the 30 degree angle, which is smaller than 60. So now solve for X, we just divide both sides by 2, right? So that will give us 4. So X is 4. We have found X. So if X is 4, it is symmetric. I mean, it is a what? It is the same measure because those two triangles shares it. So it is 4 over here, is 4 over there. Now let's use it to find Y. Right here though, it is opposite the 60 degree angle, so it's going to be the longer leg for this triangle. You see that? So that's what you have to watch out for. It is the smaller leg for this right triangle because it is opposite 30 degree, but over here is opposite the 60 degree, so it's the longer leg. So we know the longer leg, so we have to write the formula that unites the longer leg. So Y is the shorter leg. So we write that the longer leg, long leg is the square root of 3 times the shorter leg. So always write that formula. Once you write the equation, plug in what you have. So the longer leg is 4 times the square root of 3 times the shorter leg is Y. And then we solve for Y, which is going to be divide both sides by square root of 3. But then we need to simplify because we cannot have the square root in the denominator. So we need to multiply both sides by square root of 3. Okay, so that will give us 4 square roots of 3 over, then 3 times 3 is 9, square root of 9 is 3. And that's it. Okay, so I'm going to pause it here so that it doesn't get very long. Hope you get that.